This page is the iconic cover of Nintendo Power, featuring a dynamic scene with Diddy and Dixie Kong front and center, alongside other characters like a festive snowman and a bear. The artwork pops with energy, highlighting several key games. You've got the big splash on Wave Race 64, promising a deep dive into the N64 jet ski action. There's also a mention of Dixie Kong's Double Trouble, likely covering the Super NES adventure. Prominently featured is Blast Corps, an N64 explosive experience. The cover also teases in-depth strategy for SimCity 2000 and Maui Mallard in Cold Shadow, plus critical info like Super Mario 64 charts. This cover captures the excitement of late 90s Nintendo gaming, showcasing a mix of N64 and SNES titles. This page is a Nintendo Power Holiday subscription offer. Buy a gift subscription for $19.95. Get one for yourself for $5, plus a free Donkey Kong Country 3 guide. Call 1-800-255-3700. This page is the table of contents for Volume 90, November 1996, highlighting the issue's features and regular sections. The main focus is Donkey Kong Country 3. Dixie Kong's Double Trouble, promising complete maps and strategies starting on page 24. The strategy section covers games like Wave Race 64, detailed maps and stunts, Blast Corps, an exclusive look at vehicles, Super Star Wars, Maui Mallards in Cold Shadow, and more. Special features include a Shadows of the Empire comic part, Super Mario 64 charts, touted as indispensable, and a Killer Instinct card game overview. The Epic Center covers news, SimCity 2000, and strategies. Regular sections like Player's Pulse, Power Charts, and Pack Watch are also listed with their page numbers. This page presents the Player's Pulse section, where readers share their thoughts on the new Nintendo 64 system and its games. Players write in about the naming convention using 64 for many titles, the future support for the Super Nintendo, the addictiveness of games like Tetris Attack, and notably, the absence of Luigi in Super Mario 64, a common concern among fans. There's also commentary praising the 4's engineering and graphics. The page features various pieces of fan art illustrating popular characters and games, including Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, Doom Monsters, Kirby, and others, showcasing the creativity of the Nintendo community. The responses from the editors address these points, explaining Nintendo's plans and game design decisions. This page presents the Power Charts, showcasing the top games based on reader votes across different Nintendo systems. The Super NES charts are dominated by titles like Super Mario RPG and Donkey Kong Country 3, while The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening leads the Game Boy list. The Most Wanted section highlights the Nintendo 64 console and its upcoming heavy hitters such as Super Mario 64 and Legend of Zelda 64, mirroring the excitement around the new system discussed previously. The Power editors share their initial 64 favorites, with Super Mario 64 also taking the top spot there. Reader letters address topics like comparing the N64 to 32-bit consoles, and feedback on the magazine itself. The page also features a list of popular arcade classics available on Game Boy, and provides contact information for Nintendo support and online resources. This page gives us an in-depth look at Wave Race 64, highlighting the game's realistic jet ski racing experience. It covers the main modes of play, the competitive championship mode, which requires navigating courses and scoring points to advance through different difficulty levels, the exciting freestyle mode, where players focus on performing stunts within a time limit, and the head-to-head two-player mode, offering split-screen racing against a friend. The article introduces the 4 playable riders: Ayumi Stewart, Ryota Hayami, Miles Jeter, and Dave Mariner, each possessing distinct attributes like grip, acceleration, turning ability, or top speed, catering to different playstyles. Screenshots scattered throughout the page showcase the gameplay action and course visuals in these various modes. This page dives into the aquabatics of Wave Race 64, detailing the various stunts you can perform. It breaks down tricks like the handstand, spin, stand, flip, dive, helicopter, and roll, explaining how to execute each one using the joystick and throttle, often requiring you to be off a ramp or in the air. The guide highlights that mastering these stunts is key to the stunt mode and can just be fun in other modes. The page also introduces the circuit, specifically focusing on Dolphin Park. It describes the ring wrangle section in stunt mode and offers tactics for navigating the course, particularly the rough waves in the ramp rumble area, suggesting you ride the wave crests or press down to cut through them. Screenshots illustrate the stunts in action, and the Dolphin Park course elements like the rings and ramps. This page delves into the different courses of Wave Race 64, offering essential tips for navigating each one. It highlights the initial sunny beach with its slalom buoys and the penalty for missing them. Drake Lake is known for fog-reducing visibility, but also introduces a helpful pre-start turbo boost trick. Other courses like Sunset Bay and Marine Fortress are characterized by rougher or choppier surfs, requiring precise handling to avoid losing speed or stability. As the circuits progress, courses like Line-In and Rough Break become more complex, introducing obstacles like treacherous waves and crates, as well as advanced techniques like riding breakers or performing shallow dives on landing for better recovery. Screenshots accompanying each section illustrate key moments and areas of the track, providing visual guidance for mastering these challenging waterways. This page continues the Wave Race 64 course guide, diving into more challenging circuits. Port Blue is described as similar to Marine Fortress, featuring slaloms, sharp turns, and tight passages, with a shortcut opening up in hard and expert circuits. Glacier Coast introduces mini-spurgs that can knock you off, with a tip to ease off the throttle to mitigate the impact. Twilight City features a system of canals, leading to open water and changing water conditions. Bad Air, likely another course, highlights the use of ramps for shortcuts, and warns against hazardous ones and mines, noting a specific ramp to jump over a pier. Southern Island is the final course, presenting a unique challenge with tide changes that alter the course layout, particularly affecting a buoy near the beach in later laps. Screenshots and overhead maps illustrate key points and layouts for mastering these courses. The next page dives into the chaotic fun of Blastcore. This game challenges you to clear a path for a nuclear carrier on a collision course by demolishing everything in its way using a fleet of powerful demolition vehicles. With over 50 levels, you'll need to master the unique controls of different machines, from dump trucks to robots, to ensure the carrier's safe passage. The graphics are impressive, showcasing huge explosions and detailed environments. The variety of vehicles adds depth, though mastering them can be a challenge. The objective is to find all hidden items and clear the path before the carrier reaches an obstacle, all while enjoying the game's high-quality music. This page details the diverse arsenal of destruction available in Blastcore. You get a breakdown of the various vehicles and equipment crucial for clearing the carrier's path. First up are the diggers, each with unique controls and destructive power, like the simple Ramdozer or the tricky Towmaster Backlash. Then there's the heavy equipment, featuring utilities like freight trains for transport and bridges, a crane to move objects, and the powerful J-Bomb Walker. You'll also learn about items like the Ballista Missile Bike, Sideswipe with its jackhammer, and the explosive TNT crates you push into buildings. Finally, the automobiles are highlighted, including the Stars and Stripes, Muscle Car, Police Cruiser, and Custom Van, noted for slightly different handling but similar performance. Mastering these varied machines is key to success in the game's puzzle-like missions. This page delves into the objectives and mechanics of Blastcore, going beyond the vehicles discussed previously. It explains the goal of destruction across various terrains, noting that different structures have varying durability and that certain vehicles are more efficient against specific types. The article describes how terrain affects vehicle speed and traction, mentioning ramps and jumps for airborne maneuvers. It also highlights the environmentally responsible nature of Blastcore vehicles, which cannot harm trees. Different mission types are introduced, increasing in complexity with more durable buildings and faster carriers. The primary goal is always to clear a path for the carrier, but later missions incorporate puzzle elements like bridging gaps or transporting other vehicles. Achieving a gold medal requires destroying all buildings, finding hidden people, and activating all radiation dispersal units. Locating satellite antennas unlocks bonus levels, which provide either fun challenges or useful training. Earning gold medals is also the key to advancing through the ranks in the Blastcore organization. The page emphasizes that finding the well-hidden scientists and activating the RDUS adds significant depth and challenge to the game. This page introduces Donkey Kong Country 3, Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. You join Dixie and Kiddy Kong on their quest to find the missing Kongs. The gameplay includes familiar mechanics alongside new obstacles, animal friends, and an entire clan of bears you can interact with. Exploration is key, involving searching the overworld map for secrets and utilizing Funky Kong's new rental vehicles. You'll encounter the Brothers Bear, who trade valuable items like the shell, skis, mirror, patch, flower, and wrench for bear coins. Compete against Cranky Kong in Swanky's sideshow minigame for bananas and bear coins. The page also highlights Kiddy Kong's unique abilities, including the powerful smash move and the team roll where Dixie can ride him like a bowling ball to overcome obstacles. This page covers the first world of Donkey Kong Country 3, Lake Orangatanga. It highlights 6 levels: Lakeside Limbo, Doorstop Dash, Title Trouble, Skidda's Row, Squeals on Wheels, and Belcha's Barn, plus Wrinkly's Save Cave and Swanky's Sideshow. The text provides tips and strategies for finding secrets and bonus areas in Lakeside Limbo, such as getting rooftop 1-ups, smashing through planks with Kitty for a bonus barrel, using Engarde to find another, and earning a bear coin near the no animal sign. For Doorstop Dash, it explains how to use Dixie's helicopter spin to reach a bonus area. Finally, for Title Trouble, it details how to defeat Coin and get the DK coin by using a steel barrel. This page continues the guide for Donkey Kong Country 3, diving into more levels from the first world, Lake Orangatanga. It covers Skidda's Row, detailing some hidden treasures like invisible items, a bear coin above the letter O, and a 1-up balloon past the second bonus barrel. Next is Squeals on Wheels, explaining how to defeat the squeals to open pathways and reach a bonus area using the team throw move. The boss fight, Belcha's Barn, is also covered, outlining the strategy of throwing insects spat by Belcha back into his mouth to push him into a pit. Finally, a status section acts as a quick check on your progress, asking if you've collected a certain number of DK and bear coins. The next page moves on to the second world of Donkey Kong Country 3, Cremwood Forest. This guide highlights the diversity of levels in this area, including towering trees, deserted mills, and challenging river courses. The page provides detailed walkthroughs for 3 levels: Barrel Shield Bust-Up, a vertical climb where you learn about breaking invisible barrels and finding the DK coin; Riverside Race, which features a tricky water-skipping technique with Kiddy Kong necessary to grab the DK coin; and Murky Mill, where you'll find tips on using steel barrels to defeat enemies and access hidden bonus areas. Screenshots illustrate key moments and areas discussed in the guide. This page delves further into Donkey Kong Country 3, covering more challenging levels. It provides guidance for navigating the Spring and Spiders level, detailing how to find secrets and defeat enemies like Coin. You'll also get tips for Bobbing Barrel Brawl, specifically utilizing Ellie the Elephant to reach hidden areas, and using knickknacks as stepping stones. The page culminates with the boss battle against Adrich, a formidable spider, offering strategies to exploit its weak point by hitting its jaw with a barrel. The status section shows your collectible progress, while the next issue section previews upcoming areas like Mechanos, Cotton Top Cave, and K3, teasing the difficult challenges and the mystery of chaos that lie ahead. This page enters the arena, where only the truly skilled survive. It opens with a section on More Twisted Challenges, showcasing player-submitted challenges for games like Super Metroid, Pilotwings 64, Super Mario Kart, and Final Fantasy II-I. The Battle Zone highlights fierce competition in Super Mario Kart time trials, particularly on Bowser Castle 3, noting incredibly close times and regional rivalries across North America. Separate challenges are presented for Pilotwings 64, tasking players with flying into the ice cave using the hang glider, and Tetris Attack for Game Boy, where achieving a high score in endless mode is the goal. Ken Griffey Jr.'s winning run also features a challenge to hit the longest possible home run, with a screenshot showing an impressive distance already achieved. Results from previous challenges in Super Mario Kart, Mario Circuit 2, Mega Man X3, and The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past are also listed. Finally, details are provided on how players can submit their high scores and challenge attempts for a chance to be featured. This page dives into the expansive Star Wars universe with a look at Star Wars: Shadows of the Empire. It features striking artwork and comic panels showcasing characters like Dash Rendar, Luke Skywalker, and various members of Jabba the Hutt's swoop gang on Tatooine. The text explains that this is an excerpt from the Dark Horse Comics graphic novel, focusing on the events leading up to the Nintendo 64 game featuring Dash Rendar. The comic panels depict tense dialogue among the swoop gang, discussing Jabba, Darth Vader, and their plans regarding Luke Skywalker, with some humorous asides. The feature also provides background on Dark Horse Comics' long history of publishing Star Wars stories, detailing their extensive library that expands upon the movie continuity. The next page continues the Star Wars: Shadows of the Empire comic excerpt. We see Luke Skywalker testing out his new lightsaber in the desert with R2-D2 nearby, remarking on how well it's working. R2-D2's beeps are interpreted as encouragement, and Luke notes the weapon needs a real test. That test arrives quickly as several speeder bike riders attack. The panels depict intense action, with Luke deflecting blaster fire with his green lightsaber, while the attackers yell about not taking prisoners and trying to take him down. Luke finds cover and warns R2-D2 to hide as the battle unfolds around them. The next page continues the high-speed chase from the previous one. Luke Skywalker, under attack, decides his best chance is to head for Beggar's Canyon to lose his pursuers, despite them gaining ground quickly. The battle rages on, with multiple enemy speeder bikes exploding from the intense fire. One of the attackers boasts they have Luke cold and are coming for him, while another warns of steering issues amidst the chows. The action is explosive and destructive, leaving wreckage and dust clouds in its wake as the pursuit across the desert landscape intensifies. The next page shows the attackers retreating from the chase in Beggar's Canyon, with one mentioning, "Jabba won't be happy." Dash Rendar arrives just in time to save Luke, blasting the remaining enemies. Luke asks Dash what he's doing there, and Dash replies, he was saving Luke's butt from swoop scum. Dash reveals he saw their tattoos. They work for Jabba, and had orders to kill Luke. He adds that the assassination attempt means Darth Vader is behind it. Dash then tells Luke about a message for Leia concerning spies, who uncovered vital information about an Empire project. Luke is shocked to hear Leia is looking for answers with Black Sun, worried for her safety. Dash explains someone is trying to kill Luke, and Black Sun's network has information, but they'll provide more if they capture Leia. The page ends with Luke and Dash arriving at a location, with R2 beeping a greeting. This page features classified information and gameplay tips for several different titles. For Ken Griffey Jr.'s winning run, there are corrections to previously printed codes and new ones, including unlocking hidden teams like the Tampa Bay Devil Rays and Team Nintendo after completing seasons. It also provides in-game codes for maximum player ability, slowing down the opponent's runners and fielders, randomizing the pitcher's throws, and guaranteeing a home run in the Home Run Derby. Tetris Attack players can find codes to unlock rival characters and an extra hard difficulty challenge. Madden 96 offers button combinations to select specific touchdown dances when scoring. Scooby-Doo fans can enter the password SPNNR to view the game credits. Finally, Frantic Flea players are given a trick to gain unlimited lives by collecting 2 hidden extra life icons in Zone 13. This page provides a collection of classified information, offering various tips and codes for several games. For Dragonheart, passwords allow players to begin their quest at different points in the game. Separation Anxiety players can discover a secret room loaded with power-ups and extra lives by performing a specific enemy throw maneuver. In NHL 96, an alternate bonus team code is detailed, requiring precise timing during the game demo. A special password for Mega Man V2 lets you bypass earlier stages and start directly at Drive Wily's castle fully armed. Mega Man X3 players can find instructions on how to obtain Zero's powerful special weapon, involving a sacrifice by Zero himself and a password to access Drive. Doppler's Lab is provided. Lastly, the Brainies section lists color-coded passwords for many levels, guiding players through the game's puzzles. This page serves as a quick reference for valuable in-game secrets and shortcuts. This page focuses on providing a falcon load of tips and tactics for the Super Star Wars game on the Super NES. It promises to help players rescue Princess Leia and turn the Death Star into a marshmallow roast. The guide walks through the game stage by stage, starting from the Dune Sea search for droids, and piloting the Landspeeder in stages 1 and 2. It covers battling Sand People, Banthas, and Jawas in stages 57, navigating Mos Eisley Spaceport in stages 810, and tackling the Death Star sections, including rescuing the princess and escaping in stages 11-13. Finally, it covers the climactic Death Star battle in stages 14 and 15, involving TIE fighters and the Trench Run. A small inset mentions that Luke is the only character who can use the lightsaber, and includes a note about actor Mark Hamill. This page continues the Super Star Wars strategy guide, delving into key early stages. It covers the Dune Sea and how to handle the Sarlacc pit, offering tips for the Landspeeder battles against Jawas in Tatooine in and 2. The guide details the Sand People and Banthas section, including how to find hidden one-ups and the location of the lightsaber. It provides pointers for navigating the Sandcrawler, the Cantina with its background aliens and trapdoors, and the escape stage with its emphasis on climbing. Character insights are included, noting Chewbacca's jump and slide ability and Han Solo's useful rolling maneuver, alongside trivia about the actors. The page features screenshots showing various game environments enemy encounters like the Sarlacc and Tusken Raiders, and character portraits of Chewbacca and Han. This page continues the Super Star Wars Strategy Guide, detailing crucial sections like the Hangar Bay, where you navigate around patrol fighters and maintenance droids, using the plasma wave gun on the Imperial Defense Droid. The rescue section on the Death Star requires platforming and defeating a guard to free Leia, with Han Solo recommended for this mission. The core involves tackling a heavy proton gun and dodging energy streams. For the attack stage, it's a space shooter segment against TIE fighters and towers, emphasizing angled shots for survival. Finally, the trench run strategy focuses on deflecting lasers and hitting Darth Vader's before firing torpedoes at the target. The guide also includes trivia about Carrie Fisher's career and Sir Alec Guinness's influence on the Obi-Wan character. Screenshots show gameplay from these levels and movie stills. This page dives into the world of Super Mario 64, highlighting the massive scale of Princess Peach's castle and the challenges players face, such as finding all 100 coins in each world. It mentions charts dedicated to helping players find coins and defeat enemies, detailing strategies like jumping or pounding the ground on Goombas. The Epic Center section touches on other titles like the unique Super Famicom RPG Marvelous, Another Adventure Island, which features a modern setting and adventurous gameplay. It also previews the N64 title Wonder Project J2 and addresses industry questions, discussing Koei's potential 64 games and Squaresoft's move to develop for PlayStation, explaining that Square is simply expanding its business. This page presents an epic review of SimCity 2000 for the Super NES, calling it the biggest simulation for the console. It builds upon the original game with enhanced features like 3D terrain that can be raised or lowered, more facilities, and greater challenges. The review details 5 specific scenarios: Megalopolis, fire recovery, mayor training, improving services and popularity, global warming, flood recovery and population growth, entertainment city, attracting retirees, and go to space, building a space colony and population. Each scenario has unique goals and difficulty levels, offering varying problems to solve. The game includes features like underground views for water pipes and rotatable perspectives. The review notes that, unlike the classic SimCity, this version doesn't support the Super NES mouse. This page delves into the core foundations of building a metropolis in SimCity 2000. It begins by exploring various starting landforms, noting how features like rivers, lakes, hills, or open plains influence planning and strategy. The review emphasizes the critical aspects of city management, including balancing residential, commercial, and industrial zones, establishing essential public facilities like schools, hospitals, and emergency services, and developing robust power and water systems. A comprehensive transportation network, incorporating roads, rails, and subways, is highlighted as vital for efficient city function. The page also covers the game's 3D terrain sculpting tools and the concept of bonus gifts awarded for reaching city milestones. A quick reference guide to the game's icons provides an overview of the various tools and zone types available to the player. This page dives into advanced strategies for building a thriving metropolis in SimCity 2000. It begins by detailing how to manage your city's finances, emphasizing property taxes as the main income source, and suggesting a balanced 5% tax rate. It covers using city ordinances and managing budgets, recommending minimal initial funding for services like schools and hospitals. Next, power generation strategies are discussed, comparing sources like hydro, nuclear, and the expensive but powerful fusion, while offering a clever trick for creating your own waterfalls. The importance of an efficient transportation network is highlighted, favoring buses for mass transit and noting the benefits of connecting roads to neighboring cities. Specific zoning ratios are provided, evolving from a focus on industrial zones early on to a more balanced mix as the population grows. The page also introduces unique structures, like the military base, prisons, explaining their limitations and suggesting police as a better solution, and futuristic arcologies that house large populations. A quick reference is included for the game's icons and the R.C.I meter, used to track zone demand. Finally, it highlights special buildings exclusive to the Super NES version, unlocked at specific population milestones. This page offers an in-depth strategy guide for Lufia 2, Rise of the Sinistrals, highlighting its popularity and complex puzzles. It starts with general tips on item points and capsule monsters, explaining how these mechanics enhance combat and provide powerful allies like Flash and Sully. The guide then tackles specific dungeon challenges, providing solutions for tricky areas like the Treasure Sword Shrine, Ancient Tower, North Lighthouse's Arrow Enigma, and the Phantom Tree Mountains bush puzzle. It details step-by-step instructions for navigating rooms, solving switch and block puzzles, and obtaining valuable items like the cold rapier and fire arrow. The odds and ends section answers common questions, including party member departures and how to unequip cursed items. Overall, the page focuses on helping players overcome Lufia 2's challenging puzzles and strategic elements. This page features Maui Mallard in Cold Shadow, presenting it as a hilarious 8-level, side-scrolling adventure with a nod to Earthworm Jim. You play as Maui Mallard, a duck detective investigating a case in a tropical setting, who can transform into a ninja. The page provides a walkthrough for Level 1, the Mojo Mansion, broken into parts, detailing how to navigate areas, solve simple puzzles like activating platforms, and tackle enemies like the metal spider boss. It also highlights key in-game items and power-ups like treasures, different beetles, various forms of punch for health, zombie powder, and continue points. The summary is accompanied by character art and screenshots, showcasing the game's visuals and gameplay. The next page continues exploring Maui Mallard in Cold Shadow, moving past the Mojo Mansion. This walkthrough covers levels 2 through 5, providing essential tips for navigating these later challenges. Level 2, the Ninja Training Ground, focuses on mastering ninja skills. You'll spar with clones, defeat target dummies, and learn to use your staff for swinging across gaps. Level 3, Mudrake Mayhem, takes you into the jungle village. You'll face tiny dart-shooting natives, and later participate in a strange contest, battling tricycling mudrakes and mastering evasive moves like spinning to bounce off them. Level 4, Sacrifice of Maui, plunges you into a volcanic environment. Survival involves leaping across lava bubbles and navigating chambers filled with rising lava, using your staff and finding vents to stay alive. Finally, Level 5, Test of Duckhood, requires making peace with the Mudrake tribe and passing their trust test. This level emphasizes platforming and utilizing advanced staff techniques, including pressing the X button to jam your staff between walls for climbing skyward, a critical skill for completing the game. Screenshots illustrate key moments and techniques from each level. The next page dives into Level 6 of Maui Mallard in Cold Shadow, titled The Flying Duckman, split into 2 distinct parts. This section details navigating the sunken wreckage of the ship Kwaku escaped on. Part 1 involves maneuvering through the ship's interior, requiring players to utilize the bug gun to detonate mines against weak walls for propulsion and access new areas. There are multiple paths to explore, with challenges like using carbonated water barrels to jet upwards through collapsed ceilings. Part 2 shifts focus to the ship's exterior broken up near the surf, introducing obstacles like sharp debris and strong waves that demand mastering bug gun propulsion to move efficiently and stay safe. The final part prepares you for the boss fight against the captain, requiring sharp reflexes to dodge mines and schools of fish before confronting the skipper himself on the ocean floor. Screenshots illustrate these key navigation and combat techniques. This page covers the final levels of Maui Mallard in Cold Shadow. Level 7, The Realm of the Dead, involves navigating misty areas filled with ghostly spirits and using the bug gun and firefly bullets to clear a path for Kwaku's urn. Movement in some parts requires bug gun propulsion similar to the previous level, and it's the last chance to collect treasure for the final bonus stage. The next level is the Mojo Stronghold, the final confrontation. Maui faces the evil Mojo Shaman, Shaboom Shaboom, needing to break health-giving orbs and time attacks with the staff perfectly to defeat the boss before being overwhelmed by his lightning attacks. The page provides walkthroughs and screenshots for these concluding levels. This page delves into the Killer Instinct collectible card game from Topps Games, bringing the intensity of the arcade fighter to the tabletop. It explains the core rules, including the phases of play like the draw, promotion, combat, and end phases. The game uses a deck of cards representing moves and effects, with innovative mechanics like the Bloodline for resolving combat and combos for extra damage, mirroring the video game's signature feature. The article highlights the strategy involved in deck building and outmaneuvering your opponent, comparing it to other collectible card games like Magic: The Gathering. Various card types are showcased, including basic, special, and danger moves, as well as effect cards played during different phases and arenas that offer special advantages. This promises a complex yet action-packed experience for fans of the fighting game. This page shows the Killer Instinct collectible card game rules put into practice. It explains how effect cards impact gameplay during the draw and promotion phases, and details how combat is resolved by comparing card damage to the opponent's bloodline range. A step-by-step combat example demonstrates hits, misses, and the signature combo system, including combo breakers. The page also showcases the game's impressive computer-rendered character art, featuring fighters like BZZRAK and Assassin. There's a brief look into the game's creation and a list of cards used in a champion's deck. This page features the Counselor's Corner, answering player questions about Super Mario RPG, The Legend of the Seven Stars, and Pilotwings 64. For Super Mario RPG, you learn how to locate Samus Aran in the Mushroom Kingdom Castle guest room, how to retrieve Princess Peach's crown from atop Booster's head, and where to find the attack scarf in Monstro Town by performing super jumps, with screenshots showing these key locations and events. The Pilotwings 64 section details the location of the ice cave on Everfrost Island and guides you to the 4 warp stars scattered across Holiday, Crescent, Everfrost, and Little States Islands, emphasizing the use of the rocket belt. It's a helpful guide for players seeking out hidden items and locations in these classic games. This page features guides for several classic games. For Final Fantasy II Eyes, it explains how to obtain the essential Moogle charm and provides strategies for defeating the challenging boss Rex Soul, noting the required party level and techniques, alongside instructions on locating the ancient castle by using the mobile Figaro Castle. The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening section details how to overcome the formidable Armus Knight using arrows and the feather, and guides players on finding the sleepy toadstool to acquire magic powder from the witch. The page concludes with a fast facts queue and a section answering player questions on Final Fight 3, Frantic Flea, and Mega Man Drive, Wily's Revenge, offering tips on game progression, item locations, and enemy tactics. This page features Williams Arcade's greatest hits, bringing 5 legendary arcade classics to the Super NES. This compilation includes Defender, Defender 2, originally Stargate, Joust, Robotron 2084, and Sinistar. The text highlights the impact of these games, particularly Defender's revolutionary gameplay, with its varied alien types and the critical task of rescuing colonists. Defender 2 is noted as a faster sequel with new features like warps. The collection offers customizable settings for lives and difficulty. While high scores are displayed, they aren't saved. The page features screenshots from several of the included games, showcasing their distinct visual styles and intensity. These are true arcade quarter-munchers from the 80s, delivering timeless action on a home console. This page continues the look at Williams Arcade's greatest hits, focusing on 3 more iconic games. Joust delivers unique aerial combat where players battle on flying ostriches, knocking opponents off their mounts and collecting eggs, with increasingly aggressive foes and pterodactyls. Sinistar is a tense race against time where you must mine minerals to build bombs to destroy the massive space station, all while dodging or destroying its builders, the workers and warriors. Robotron 2084 is a relentless arena shooter, requiring players to wipe out robotic enemies and rescue the last human family, emphasizing fast reflexes and strategic movement adapted for the Super NES controls. A section titled Once and Future Hits discusses the timeless appeal of these classics, featuring insights from Mike Rubinelli on their lasting popularity and ability to captivate players today, citing their addictive gameplay and smooth difficulty progression. This page dives into the whimsical world of Wiz, a dapper rabbit in a tuxedo on a quest through 10 unique stages across 4 exotic lands. The goal is to find his lost hot air balloon, but players must race against the clock while navigating varied environments, from icy landscapes requiring sleds to underwater segments in a submarine. Speed is key, but exploring is also rewarded. Wiz can spin attack to defeat baddies and collect items that help him progress, like different colored blocks to break barriers, potions to restore health, keys for treasure chests, and hourglasses to add precious seconds to the timer. Be warned about the dark liquid. It's poison. Find a healing box fast if you drink it. The game blends platforming and exploration with a constant sense of urgency. This page delves deeper into the world of Wiz, showcasing the first 2 distinct environments Wiz explores on his quest. Stage 1, Cliffs in the Clouds, challenges players with navigating floating islands populated by unique enemies like baby dragons and waddling penguins. It provides a detailed map for Stage 11 and highlights specific points of interest with screenshots, offering tips on using switches and overcoming obstacles. Following this is Stage 2, a snowbound bunny, which transitions to a perpetual winter landscape. This section maps out Stage 21 and guides players through icy terrain filled with purple sea lions and spinning pyramids, offering visual advice on finding keys, utilizing moving platforms, and dealing with tricky slopes. The page also briefly touches upon subsequent stages within these worlds, hinting at mechanics like buttons, sledding sections, and even encounters with a friendly killer whale. It's a crucial guide for mastering the early platforming and puzzle challenges Wiz faces. This page continues the adventure of Wiz, moving from the icy landscapes to the sunny tropics in Stage 3. Water everywhere here. Wiz faces beach-themed enemies like lobsters and crabs, while navigating sandy shores and sunken ships. The guide highlights how Wiz, not being a great swimmer, will rely on a surfboard, motorboat, and even a submarine to cross the extensive water areas. The map for Stage 31 shows key locations and hints, while screenshots illustrate mechanics like using cannons to cross gaps and finding hidden items. Following the beach, Stage 4 takes Wiz to a High Rollin' Hair, a bizarre world built from playing cards, complete with enemies like jokers, bombs, and chess pieces. This stage introduces unique challenges based on games of chance, such as stacking chips, playing high-low, and tackling slot machines. The Stage 41 map details the path through this card-themed environment, and screenshots give a peek at the gameplay, emphasizing puzzles involving specific numbers and navigating giant checkers. The guide makes it clear that finding hourglasses for extra time is crucial in these later, more complex stages. This page dives into the world of Battle Arena to Shinden on the Game Boy. It's a portable fighting game bringing the famous tournament to your hands, featuring various characters, moves, and codes. The guide highlights the different ways to play, including the story mode where you battle through the tournament, and versus modes against the CPU or another human player via link cable or Super Game Boy setup. It touches upon the ring-out mechanic, where knocking your opponent off the edge can lead to victory, a feature you can toggle in the options. The page also mentions customizable difficulty settings and the forgiving computer AI, making it accessible for beginners, while veterans can crank up the challenge. Unique features like a language code, revealing all in-game text and secrets, secret attacks, and a test mode called Scorchers are also detailed, with instructions provided for activating Scorchers mode. This page introduces you to the diverse roster of fighters, battling it out in Battle Arena to Shinden on the Game Boy. You'll meet characters like Cayenne Amour, the Scottish Highlander fighting for his family, the brute strength of Rungo Iron, and the vengeful Duke B. Rambert. The guide details each combatant, from the agile Eiji Shinjo searching for his brother, to the whip-wielding former agent Sophia, the ancient master Fo Fai, the dancing gypsy Ellis, and the spear expert Mondo. For each fighter, their backstory is summarized, giving context to their participation in the tournament. Crucially, the page lists their signature special moves, along with the required button inputs, essential for mastering each fighter's unique style and utilizing mechanics like projectile attacks and combos, building on the game's core gameplay loop discussed previously. This page is your guide to the latest Nintendo releases in November 1996. We dive into Donkey Kong Country 3, featuring Dixie and Kiddy Kong in a stunning platform adventure with tons of stages and save files, though Donkey and Diddy are absent. Magic Boy makes a long-awaited appearance, offering a charming action puzzle experience tailored for a younger audience, noted for nice graphics but limited challenge. Arcade's greatest hits brings classic Midway arcade action like Defender and Joust to the SNES, focusing on pure gameplay over graphics and offering great value despite not saving high scores. Battle Arena to Shinden arrives on Game Boy, bringing the fighting action with 8 characters and Super Game Boy enhancements, building on the fighter details and moves we saw earlier. Kirby's Pinball Land is back as a player's choice title, delivering fun pinball gameplay across multiple boards. Finally, Donald Duck stars as Maui Mallard in Cold Shadow, a challenging platformer set in the South Seas with lots of stages and a unique blend of action. This page dives into more game reviews for November 1996, releases and re-releases. Super Star Wars returns to the Super NES, offering a challenging platforming and shooting adventure based on the movie, praised for its graphics and sound, though passwords are limited. SimCity 2000 brings its deep city simulation to the Super NES, focusing on building and managing a complex metropolis, noted for its realistic simulation, despite less emphasis on graphics or action. Wave Race 64 makes a huge splash on the Nintendo 64, with stunning graphics and realistic water physics in a fast-paced jet ski racing game, supporting controller packs for saving data. Whiz, an action puzzle game on the Super NES, is described as an interesting but obscure title, with challenging gameplay in a three-quarter view perspective, although its control is awkward. The page also includes the power meter ratings, scoring games on various criteria, featuring titles from both this and the previous page, alongside keys for systems, icons, and information on pro players and age ratings. This page kicks off the Pack Watch section, offering a look at upcoming games. On the left, we get the lowdown on Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey for the N64. This first N64 hockey game aims to mix arcade action like flaming nets and high scores with realistic simulation, supporting up to 4 players and featuring a dynamic camera for the best view. Gameplay includes sharp controls, the ability to switch players, and solid defensive and offensive mechanics like tripping, stealing, passing, and shooting. The screenshots show various gameplay angles and the team selection screen. On the right, the focus shifts to the upcoming Major League Baseball game featuring Ken Griffey Jr. for the N64. Developed by Angel Studios, the team is putting a massive effort into creating incredibly realistic 3D models of all 30 MLB ballparks, using detailed photos and wireframe models. The goal is to optimize performance for a smooth 30 frames per second experience, with realistic player animation and different lighting modes. The images highlight the complex wireframe construction of the stadiums and show the development team. This page dives into more sports titles and a platformer. NBA Hangtime is coming to 64, praised for its excellent graphics including reflections, looking even better than the arcade versions. It's expected to be near completion for a December release. For Super NES, NBA Live 97 offers a realistic simulation experience, with new 2-on-2 and 3-on-3 modes, player customization, and quick action, though the animation is noted as stiff. Moving to handhelds, Madden 97 packs a lot into the Game Boy, designed as a road game despite lacking NFL licenses, but featuring John Madden. Black Pearl developed it with tier text, fitting 4 megabits of content. Finally, Tasmania 2 for Game Boy is a platformer from Black Pearl and Beam Software, 1 megabit, featuring Taz's signature spin attack and puzzling levels, supporting 2 players alternating. This page covers the big news of the Nintendo 64's rapid sellout launch, including a photo showing a console shipment arriving by plane. It previews Gearheads, a unique toy fighting strategy game for the Super NES, with screenshots of its distinctive gameplay grid. The Game Boy Racer Street Racer is discussed, highlighting its combat focus but noting issues with its alternate modes. We get a look at Casper on SNES, a haunted mansion game where Casper can transform. Upcoming 64 titles are mentioned, like Quake, Hexen, and a Tales of Phantasia sequel. Jeopardy! Makes a return to Game Boy with challenging teen and platinum editions. The Super NES fighting game Street Fighter Alpha 2 is featured, along with news about the animated series listing various characters. Development progress for FIFA 64 on 64 is reported, promising good graphics. The page concludes with a list showing the release timeframe for many upcoming games across N64, SNES, and Game Boy. This page features an exciting contest for the popular basketball game, NBA Hangtime. You have a chance to win an actual NBA Hangtime arcade game, bringing the full coin-op experience home. They're also giving away copies of NBA Hangtime for both the Super NES and Nintendo 64, so no matter your console, you can get your Hangtime on. Other prizes include official NBA game balls and exclusive Nintendo Power t-shirts. The page emphasizes the appeal of playing at home without waiting in lines or needing quarters, promising high-flying dunks and intense action. Official contest rules are included, detailing how to enter and the prize distribution. This page previews the upcoming December 1996 issue, headlining Killer Instinct Gold for the Nintendo 64 with exclusive tips straight from the designers for mastering combo breakers and fighting strategies. You'll also get a blueprint for survival in Shadows of the Empire on 64 and hit the ice with a preview of Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey, the premier sports title for the console. Following up on the recent contest, they'll review the arcade hoops of NBA Hangtime for the Super NES and continue the simian adventure with Part 2 of the Donkey Kong Country 3 review. You can also order back issues of the magazine, featuring guides and previews for many classic Nintendo games across various platforms. A large feature promotes the Super Mario 64 Player's Guide, packed with over 130 pages of tips and tricks to help you find every coin and star. Finally, an extensive list serves as an index or ordering guide for numerous games.